Tesla makes new changes to the car lineup. This quarter's safety report has been released, and the first legit V3 Supercharger location is online. This is Tesla Tidbits episode number 537 for July 22nd, 2019. This show is sponsored by my supporter Richard. If you're in the market for a Model S, X, or 3, please consider using his referral code. Ask your salesperson to use code Richard174 or go direct to the web link ts.la/Richard174 and pick up a 1,000-mile supercharging credit for your new vehicle. CNBC starts the show this week with news of lineup changes coming to Tesla's offering. Not sure what's bigger news, so we'll start with the news that probably affects the most people, and that's the price of the Model 3 dropping by $1,000. The Standard Range Plus version of the vehicle will now be priced starting at $38,990 US. No note from the article on whether the Standard Range version will get the same cut, though I have to assume no on that one. Next up, also a very big deal, and further differentiating the product lineup, Model S and Model X will no longer have standard range versions, only long range. A base Model S will now set you back $79,990 US, and a base Model X will drain you $84,990 US. Additionally, for Model S and Model X, the performance version will now include ludicrous mode, where previously this was a separate $20,000 option. So the top performance cars are now seeing a significant price drop. So there's never been a better time to buy the world's quickest production vehicle. And speaking of never a better time to buy, the price for full self-driving will increase by another $1,000 starting on August 16th. So if you're on the fence to buy a car, or on the fence to add full self-driving, you're on the clock now with less than a month to decide and lock it in. And one last little thing coming from Elon's Twitter account. You'll recall that Tesla switched the default color to white away from black here recently, and that it was stated that basic white paint would be coming back to make this happen. But we all got shocked when Elon recently tweeted, quote, "Basic white adds too much to service repair complexity. Team convinced me better to go with pearl white," end quote. This is a true surprise, as multi-coat paint isn't exactly easy to repair either, and along with multi-coat red was previously the most expensive paint option. Another bit that I just saw while confirming information in the design studio is that black, which was previously announced to be a $1,000 option, at least for Model 3 is only $750. Not sure if this is part of these price decreases, or if they just discovered they didn't need to charge as much with Model 3 being smaller than the other vehicles. I'm really glad to see the change in the performance version, especially at no extra cost. To me, it was a bit confusing to have the performance version, but not automatically get the fastest version of the car. With only one exception in the price increase for full self-driving, this is all really good news for owners in that they're getting more value for less cost. The end of another quarter also means another Tesla quarterly safety report. These are short and sweet, so I'll just give you the full statement from the site. Quote, "In the second quarter, we registered one accident for every 3.27 million miles driven in which drivers had autopilot engaged. For those driving without autopilot but with our active safety features, we registered one accident for every 2.19 million miles driven. For those driving without autopilot and without our active safety features, we registered one accident for every 1.41 million miles driven. By comparison, NHTSA's most recent data shows that in the United States there is an automobile crash every 498,000 miles." End quote. Tesla's data shows a longer time between accidents as compared to the last quarter, improving by 400,000 miles between accidents when vehicles had autopilot enabled, and 430,000 miles without it enabled, but obviously with autopilot safety features available. It should be noted that drivers in general were better as well, improving by 62,000 miles compared to the last data provided by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, but not even close to what you have with autopilot enabled. Interestingly now as well, to combat the Tesla fire FUD out there, is data provided for the rate of fires occurring with Teslas, which the site says they will publish annually. For 2018, we get the following report. Quote, "From 2012 to 2018, there has been approximately one Tesla vehicle fire for every 170 million miles traveled. By comparison, data from the National Fire Protection Association, NFPA, and U.S. Department of Transportation shows that in the United States there is a vehicle fire for every 19 million miles traveled. In order to provide an apt comparison to NFPA data, Tesla's dataset includes instances of vehicle fires caused by structure fires, arson, and other things unrelated to the vehicle, which account for about 15% of Tesla vehicle fires over this time period. End quote. Loving that Tesla is covering the bases by transparently publishing its own data to combat two of the major sources of FUD about the company. Adding the fire data is especially important, I think, because it's the FUD that is the most widespread and seemingly believed to be common knowledge. In fact, the last person I spoke to about my car immediately brought this up. Next up, we visit Tesla Rowdy, where we see that Tesla is figuratively lighting up a place that is literally lit all the time. The first legitimately sized V3 Supercharging location is now online, and it is in the heart of the Las Vegas Strip, next to the high roller attraction at the Link Hotel. Featuring 24 supercharging stalls, as well as 15 destination chargers, there will be plenty of plugs available for owners needing some juice. It's also one of the few locations that not only has the chargers, but the long-promised solar array helping to power the chargers, along with power packs that capture all that Las Vegas sun. For owners that frequent Vegas, this should be a welcome addition to the Strip. Lastly, just a reminder again that this week there are only 2 scheduled shows due to the earnings call on Wednesday. You're obviously already listening to this show, and you can expect the earnings call show to post late Wednesday night. Here's hoping I have some amazing news to report to you. That is it for today's show. Shout out to the newest supporter of the show, Christopher Erickson. Feel free to check out patreon.com/Tesla Tidbits if you'd like to join Christopher in supporting the show monetarily. Thanks to all my patrons supporting the show, and as always, a special shout out to all the super patrons supporting the show at the $10 plus level. They are Drew Schuyler, John Waller, Ryan Scarborough, Lee Sweet, William Henry Crew III, Dorian Steve Guberman, Bruno Gundici, Joey Boots, Ralph and Cheryl Waterhouse, Adam Raymer Brown, Megawatt Photovoltaic Development, Todd Sullivan, Mitch Long, Zortec LED Canada, Morven Ogg, Blake Thompson, Raymond and Deborah Malkowitz, T Sportline, Michael Pastroni, Travis and Cheyenne Rush, Chris Hovis, Craig Murphy, Vicky Kirk, Ricky Johnston, Bien Concepcion, Nathan Garza, Paul Gona, and Ed Patterman. If you have feedback for me, the best way to be heard is to tweet at Tesla Tidbits and use the hashtag AskTeslaTidbits if you'd like your question to be considered for the show. I will see you back here again on Wednesday night with that earnings call episode. Until then, keep it charged and hit the road.